Hey guys, Josh from HockeyReviewsForYou.com bringing you my full review of the Easton V9 hockey stick. I've been using this stick for the better part of about 2 months now, and I have to say I've been really impressed with the final product. So with that being said, let's get right into the review. Starting off with the overall weight and balance of the stick itself, the V9 is the more traditional variation out of the two top-end V-Series. It replaces the Easton Mako 2, and for the most part has a fairly similar feel. You're going to have a standard shaft with a fairly standard taper, a fused two-piece construction. So with that being said, it is ever so slightly blade heavy. I would say the balance point on the stick is just below the middle of the shaft. So for the most part, it is still fairly well balanced, even though it isn't a true one piece. And in terms of the weight of the stick, it weighs in right around that 420 gram mark. So pretty much right on par with every other high-end stick right now. So if you're looking for that nice lightweight feel, but something that still has a nice solid construction about it, then the Easton V9 can definitely provide that for you. Next, I want to talk about the shaft of the stick itself. The V9 shaft is again fairly traditional like the overall design. You're going to get rounded corners, flat sidewalls, and the overall thickness of the shaft is about average for a high-end hockey stick. So you're going to get a nice solid grip. Of course, like all top-end Easton models, the stick is available in clear and grip variations. The one that I used for testing was the grip variation, which features a spiral texturing as well as Easton's standard grip coating. It's not any more grippy than any other grip Easton stick that I've personally ever used. I had no issues with the grip texturing kind of falling off, and for the most part, when you really wanted to squeeze the shaft to bear down for a shot, it provided a really solid grip, and I never had issues with my hand slipping. So for the most part, if you like having that grip texturing, the grip model is definitely for you. Whereas if you prefer to have a slightly slicker feel on the shaft, then I would definitely recommend the clear variation. The highlight of the V9 is definitely the blade itself, featuring Easton's Hyper-Toe technology. Now, it's kind of an interesting concept by Easton in that they kind of went back to the drawing board as far as how they look at designing blades and really focused on designing a blade around elite level player shooting mechanics, where they kind of made the observation that a lot of elite level players, especially in the NHL, are mainly shooting the puck off of the front third of their blade, mainly around the toe area. So what they did is they designed a blade that not only tapered in thickness, so it's a little bit thicker at the heel and gets thinner and thinner towards the tip of the toe, but also progressively gets stiffer and stiffer going from heel to toe. So from the heel, the blade's going to be a little bit softer, offering a slightly softer type of puck feel for receiving passes and stick handling, where at the tip of the toe, mainly around this kind of graphic you find here in orange and white, you're going to find extra ridges in the blade that make it a lot stiffer, incredibly stiff to be completely fair, and this offers a tremendous amount of responsiveness and pop when actually shooting the puck. Now, in terms of the core of the blade, you are, like I said, going to find those extra ridges here at the tip of the toe or the front third of the blade, but it is an Airex foam core, segmented cores. You're going to find 4 of those strips of foam running the length of the blade itself. So it does have a slightly softer feel, I would say from the middle of the blade to the back of the heel, whereas from the middle of the blade to the toe, it's going to be a lot stiffer, noticeably stiffer than any other blade that I've personally ever used. So when it comes to overall puck feel, it's going to be a little bit more forgiving in the heel, but for the most part, I would say that this is a very pingy feeling blade. There's not a lot of kind of forgivingness to it when you are kind of receiving passes and stuff like that. So if you're one of those people that likes a slightly softer feel, this may not be the blade for you. But for those of you guys that like a very responsive feel and very lively feel to your blade, this Hyper-Toe construction is definitely going to be for you. What also is kind of unique to the blade itself is that because you have this design where it gets progressively stiffer towards the tip of the toe going from the heel, is that there is a slight flex point on the blade itself, mainly around the middle. So when you do shoot the puck off of the toe, while you may not necessarily be able to feel it all that much, the blade will flex a little bit, providing a little bit of additional energy transfer along with the flex of the shaft, and you definitely will notice a difference in terms of how the puck flies off of your blade, in that it does feel noticeably different, and it's visibly a lot faster, not a lot faster, but noticeably faster in comparison to other blades that I've personally ever used. So in terms of puck feel, like I said, it's very stiff, it's very pingy, it's not particularly forgiving, but if you like that nice responsive feel, you'll love the feel of the Hyper-Toe construction on the blade itself. Shooting the puck in the Easton V9 is really my favorite aspect of this particular stick. The shaft itself does have a more traditional feel and traditional kick point overall. The kick point is about mid to slightly low on the shaft, so it's really ideal for a wide variety of shots, whether you're taking slap shots or wrist shots or snap shots, whatever it may be. The shaft kicks really, really well, and I was actually surprised at how much energy return you actually got from this shaft when bearing down for a hard slap shot or a one-timer. But when it comes to shooting the puck, to me, what really makes this stick special and unique in comparison to everything else is the hyper-toe construction of the blade. As mentioned earlier, Easton really designed this blade around elite level shooting technique, where they reinforce that front third of the blade where a lot of professionals are shooting the puck off of, mainly because you can get a really, really quick release. And because of that extra stiffness in the blade has a tremendous amount of pop. It really feels like the puck flies off your blade a little bit quicker than it would on a standard stick. And because the blade also does have that slight flex profile, I would expect that that has something to do with how fast the puck flies off of your blade, although you don't ever feel like it's flexing or opening up on you, making for a very accurate feel as well. Another thing that Easton is really touting with the V9 series is, of course, the dual eye technology of some of their curves. This has more to do with the curve that you're using rather than the blade itself. For testing, I used the E3 Hall pattern, used to be the Sakic. This is a curve I've been using for a number of years now. It happens to have Easton's dual eye technology. The curve itself isn't actually any different from any other Hall curves or Sakic curves, whatever name variation they've given it. Nothing has changed here. All the dual eye technology really means is that the bottom of the blade is not flat. It's on a little bit of a rocker, so it's slightly curved, meaning that when you receive the puck and you stick handle, the blade's going to sit at a slightly different angle than when you're shooting the puck. Again, you should really be using a curve that you're comfortable with and not really worry too much about this dual eye thing. It's more or less a marketing scheme by Easton, but should this be one of your ideal kind of blade patterns, it really does perform well. The other two with the dual eye technology are the E28 and E36 patterns, which I'm actually very curious to try out. They're more of like a toe curve style, whereas this is a little bit more of a mid curve with a little bit of extra toe. But for the most part, again, for ideal shooting technique, you should be using the blade pattern that you are most comfortable with. But overall, if you're looking for a very traditional, very hard kick from your shots, whether you're taking slap shots or wrist shots, the Easton V9 will definitely deliver that for you. When it comes to the overall durability of the Easton V9, I've had no issues whatsoever over the past 2 months. Funny story, I actually acquired this stick through Easton warranty when I broke a Stealth RS with that elliptical taper. Of course, the V9E model also features that elliptical taper. I'm a really big fan of how that elliptical taper feels, but in terms of durability, it tends to not be quite as durable as something with a more traditional shaft design like the Easton V9. So for the most part, like I said, over the last 2 months, nothing really jumps out at me as a potential durability concern. There's some small scratches in the blade just from normal use, other players' skates and stuff like that, and a few small chips in the paint, but for the most part, everything is in perfect condition, and like I said, nothing really jumps out at me as a potential durability concern. So if you were interested in one of the new Easton V-Series sticks, if you're going top end, the V9 definitely seems like it's going to be the more durable of the two variations. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the Easton V9 stick. Overall, I have to say I was really impressed by this particular model from Easton. I think that the V9 model as a whole has more or less been overshadowed by the V9E with that elliptical taper. This one features the much plainer graphics with the black, gray, and white design on the stick itself. But for the most part, if you're looking for a more traditional feel, or even if you were coming off of the Mako series from Easton, this is definitely a really solid option. It has that mid to low kick point. The hyper toe technology and blade itself is ideal for shooting the puck. It's very, very responsive, and the amount of kick you're able to get from this particular stick is pretty impressive. And for the most part, if you're looking for something that's going to be fairly durable, this definitely seems like it will do the job for you. So if you guys are interested in getting one of these for yourself, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can purchase one. If you have any questions regarding the Easton V9, feel free to leave a comment down below. And also leave some suggestions for other products that you guys would like to see, whether it be sticks, skates, helmets, gloves, whatever it may be. Leave a suggestion and I definitely will take a look at it. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos on more video reviews on all the latest hockey gear, I should say. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.